Hey, RetconRaider here. With special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible. Including but not limited to Matthew Smith, Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Dragon Matrix 7, Eerie V23, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, Kazorm, Lima, Nathan Welch Jr., Tomasz, Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Solasta, Lost Valley, as the adventure continues. And at this point, things do seem to be heating up a bit. We've basically wiped all of the early game quests out of our journal in one fell swoop. We're pretty much done with the entire right side of the map, which means at this point we're mostly looking at mid and late game stuff that's all populating the left side, a lot of which seems to be focused on the swamp, which still has a fair chunk of quests we need to resolve there. I guess that's essentially our new de facto quest hub for this portion of the game. And then, of course, we've also just started unlocking locations that are even further to the west. So I imagine we'll be seeing more of that as we start finishing up the mid-level quests in and around the swamp. That said, that is, of course, what we're focused on today. We're going to start whittling down those quests in the swamp. We're still being careful not to alienate anyone earlier than we have to. But we'll see where this takes us. I mean, eventually it is going to hit the fan. We can't sit on the fence forever, but up until that point, I would like to garner as much loot and XP as possible. And there's our level up. First up, Eben gets hit points, spell slots, and into the fray, which is interesting, though not a huge game changer for us. The first part's pretty much pointless because I didn't build around it. That essentially lets us use weapons for somatic casting, as opposed to needing an empty hand like Garvin does. Though I suppose we could still get some use out of it. We could slap a sword and board in his offset, and then switch to that when we really need that shield bonus. Slightly more useful, Eben also no longer suffers disadvantage for using ranged spells while engaged in melee combat. Not a huge game changer, but definitely useful under very specific circumstances. When Eben might need to fire off a firebolt or something at an opponent he is not currently engaged with. Such as when Laren was being menaced by that spectral spider last time around. This might have come in handy. Ultimately, it's yet another option for how we can approach these increasingly complex fights, and that is certainly not a bad thing. It is worth noting, though, that while it's taken us a while to get here, from here on out, pretty much every level until we hit the level cap at 12 is going to give Eben something fantastic. More ability points, great new class features, a third attack per round, not to mention extra spell slots and whatnot as well. He'll be getting more of those too. Personally, I'm looking forward to Spell Tyrant. I think that's going to be a big game changer. But we've still got a ways to go before we get to that one. And as you may have noticed, we also just finished crafting his +1 plate mail, which, unless I am mistaken, should bump him up to 20 AC. As for his new spell, I'm pretty happy with what we've got. I feel like all of these spells have been at least somewhat useful. I mean, Giemza maybe. So we'll stick with what we've got for now. And we now have access to level 2 spells, and I feel like our first one has to be Misty Step. I consider that one a staple for battlefield mobility. But I will say, I've also got my eye on Spider Climb, obviously. That one's pretty fantastic. And there is a lot to be said for a good old magic missile. I would like that as well, at some point, if we happen to have a spare slot. Maybe even Knock. I mean, I guess there is an argument that could be made that he's been carrying those chimes long enough to figure out how they work, and it would be convenient to have a backup for those cases where Mora rolls a natural 1. Next we've got Thygor, who also gets more hit points, and Feral Instinct, right, which is pretty fantastic. This basically makes him immune to being surprised, as long as we have at least one rage left to burn. It'll allow him to act during a surprise round, which really changes the dynamic of those ambush events we keep getting hit with. It'll allow him to immediately go on the offensive, or immediately intervene, and try to defend or pull enemies off of a more vulnerable target, like Leyrin. So, yeah, that is a great addition to an already pretty rock-solid character. And then, much like Eben, he also gets something fantastic every level from here on out. More ability points, better critical hits, not to mention the actual rock-solid ability right there. That is incredible. That one gives him a stacking AC bonus based on the number of enemies he's engaged with. So, a lot to look forward to there. After that, we've got Garvin. And compared to Eben and Thygor, it's super straightforward. More hit points and an extra spell slot. His future level ups are pretty sparse too, relatively speaking. I mean, obviously the big draw for a druid is spells, but he will get some more attribute points, and at level 10, Spiegel will complete his metamorphosis into a roving hit point battery. His new spell will not be Dark Vision. I am very unclear on why that is like their go-to for the autofill. And given that we now have access to level 4 spells, I feel obligated to prepare at least one. Though honestly, none of these really jump out at me. I mean, given that we have kind of leaned into the storm theme with Call Lightning and Sleet Storm, I'm thinking Ice Storm might be fun. It's kind of a one and done. My big concern is just that while a lot of these other spells do look somewhat interesting, they require concentration, which in most scenarios I just see being put to better use with Spike Growth or Call Lightning, or maybe even Sleet Storm. You know, Sleet Storm really ended up saving the day during that ambush event last time round, even if we weren't the ones who cast it ourselves. But, you know, let me know what you guys think. Which brings us to Mora. And much like Garvin, she pulls a modest amount of hit points, though she is still pretty frail. And she picks up a new spell slot. And then at future level ups, she'll pull more ability points or feats, as well as an additional meta magic, which will be fun. We've gotten a lot of use out of the two we already have. With spells, once again, I'm pretty happy with what we've got here. I feel like we've gotten some decent use out of everything on our list right now, so we'll stick with that. We do have access to level 4 spells, but we've only got the one slot. And we also automatically picked up Banishment as part of our Child of the Rift subclass, which I feel is already pretty well suited for a character like Mora. Twin casting Banishment would let us knock out two extra planar or elemental enemies in a single round. At least in theory, the dice would have to cooperate. But yeah, while there are some other 4th level spells I might be interested in, like Dimension Door, or Dominate Beast, or Greater Invisibility, I feel like we should hold off on those for now, just because of how limited our 4th level casting is at this point. And you know, given how much we were struggling during our recent foray through the swamps, with a lot of those steep walls and particularly large gaps, I feel like Fly is a good investment, especially since we can twin cast that, and it has a respectable duration. A spell like that would really help Mora keep up with the rest of the party, and of course it's particularly important because she also doubles as our party rogue. So it is somewhat important that she can actually take point when we need her to. Anyway, that's it for level 7, at least my version of it. As always, feel free to leave feedback or opinions in the comment section down below, and I will certainly take a look at them. Feel free to comment about future level ups too, because obviously at this point I'm recording a lot of these episodes a week or so in advance, which does somewhat limit my ability to actually act on those suggestions. And now back to adventuring. Alright, so we've got like 6 things we need to do here. But before we get to any of that, let's equip our new plate mail. Ooh, that does look good. Very nice. You know, I actually deliberately chose that face tattoo just so it would give him that sort of shadowed eye look, like a Silver Age comic character once we had a helmet on him, and I think it looks pretty good. There is some clipping. Elf ears apparently cannot be contained, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that bad. Not to mention, of course, from a gameplay standpoint, that is a full 3-point swing on AC. So obviously I'm not going to kick up too much of a fuss about some cosmetic blemishes. Almost done with that belt, too. We should be able to finish that next time we're out on the world map. Aside from that, we need a rough blue diamond if we want to craft that periapt of enchanting. Also, we were not able to purchase a blood ruby back in Caer Hifrid, but we should be able to purchase one while we're here. I have that in my notes. 800 gold. So we'll go ahead and grab that, and if we can't get the periapt started, then we'll just do them all instead. Okay, so we've got these 3 faction quests. And then the Strange House with Agatha, Spider Queen. And then the Ruined Fort, which now appears to be populated with orcs. Better late than never, I suppose. Looks like they got here just in time to pin down Lysanter. I'm assuming that is Oronettis' wayward apprentice. Oh, we also missed a chest. Interesting. I thought we did a pretty clean sweep, but apparently we missed something. And then, of course, we also have the Ruined Temple, which is what Tuznan is following us around for. And we're going to save that one for last, because I'd like to keep him around as long as possible. But, you know, we'll see how that one goes. It might automatically trigger when we try to walk by. Regardless, we'll start with this stuff in the Forge Camp. I'm thinking we'll start with Charmer and then work our way up from there. We know Hasdrubal's thing is a major faction quest, so that could complicate things.
Are you ready for this?
Of course. Murdering one of them, though? That doesn't seem wise.
Right. I mean, we have no proof he's a spy.
We could search his stuff.
Yeah, let's not just murder a member of the Forge and hope we can talk our way out of it after. That just sounds like a bad time. Oh yeah, that is a Dominion officer's ring. With Charmer's name on it. That feels like bad planning on his part. History of the Dragon Wars. Some say the dragons were not defeated. Disguised as elves, they took over the remaining houses. We found a copy of that in the ruins, didn't we? No, what we found was the excerpt from the Draconis Codex. But they are very similar lore blurbs. Interesting. You know what? The fact that we found this on a Dominion officer does really reinforce the idea that Orinetis is a dragon in disguise.
Look at that.
Alright, let's go chat with Hasdrubal. Hopefully this will take precedence over his thing. Oh, and let's grab this stuff too. Yes. Wow. So you could theoretically make a slow but infinite income just walking back and forth between Verdant Valley and the swamp. Plus whatever you rake in from random encounters.
We need to talk.
Holy Marika, what's going on?
Your man Charmer. He's spying for Orinetis.
What? Ridiculous. I've known him for years.
Take a look at this.
You stole his backpack. That's not really. A knighthood ring.
Look inside.
No need. I know these rings. Bearing the sign of the Lord Protector himself. This is not solid proof, mind you, but we'll interrogate Charmer. The matter is in our hands now, but thank you for finding this.
Stay in the light, friend.
Cool, yeah, okay. That feels pretty ideal. Letting the Forge handle it in-house as opposed to taking matters into our own hands and potentially killing an innocent man. Obviously, it is entirely possible that Charmer is, in fact, a Dominion spy. But given the recent skullduggery we've seen, the recent shenaniganery, especially the ambush event, it is entirely possible that someone just planted that ring in Charmer's backpack.
Good day, friends.
Clear skies, friend.
I know you're trustworthy and strong. I need help. A bunch of our scouts didn't come back from a mission. My cousin is one of them. Hasdrubal wants to give them more time, but if you could just go take a look.
Sure, we'll do that.
Thank you, friends. It's another ruin from Imperial times, maybe earlier. We expected to find some decent loot there. My cousin put the team together. It's been a week now. I'll mark the location on your map. See you soon, and be careful out there.
Of course.
Stay in the light.
Oh, nice. A new location to visit. Possibly just a single encounter map, but also possibly something slightly more substantial. I think we can dump that. And we need a blood ruby. Shoot, that's slightly more than I thought it would be. Yeah, that leaves us just shy for the Cloak of Protection, which I also wanted. Let's see if he's got a Periapt of Enchanting. He does not. And he also doesn't have a rough blue diamond, so we'll have to put a pin in that. You know what? We'll just burn off a couple of scrolls. I almost never use these things anyway. And that should, well, that should have given us enough for the cloak. Why Oh, wow, we need to be a living legend with the Forge to actually purchase that. For some reason, I thought Brotherhood was maxed, but apparently it's only second highest. So I don't know if we will ever get that. Well, that's a bummer. Alright, well, we'll just hold off for now. We'll continue stockpiling gold. There's plenty of other things we can spend it on. And I suppose we will get that mall started. There is a part of me that wants to wait until we have that periaptive enchanting, but that could still be a fair while. I have no idea if any of the vendors have rough blue diamonds for sale, or when we might find one. I mean, honestly, while it is a bit meta and a bit cheesy, there are no real time limits in this game as far as I'm aware, so while it does take a long time to finish this thing without the periaptive enchanting, I don't think there's anything to stop us from just wandering around on the world map until we're done. Though if I do end up grinding on the world map just to get it finished, I'll do that part off screen.
Thank you for coming, my friends.
What news, Hasdrubal?
I heard from the rebel leader, Ilaria and Pharrell.
Yes?
They propose a meeting to ease the tensions between us.
Need us to tag along?
I'd feel better, yes.
Happy to be of service.
Good. They finally told me where they're based. It's an old, buried Manacalon city called Dinas Gessa. Obviously, that's confidential.
Oh, nice. That's another new location for us to visit. I'll be curious to see if we get ambushed en route to this one as well. And Hasdrubal is actually coming with us. I sort of figured he'd... Well, I guess it is an escort mission. It's just kind of surprising. Also surprising is the fact that he appears to be weaker than the guy we escorted last time. I'd guess he's about level 8, maybe? Slightly above us. But the more the merrier. That'll really make this fort fight trivial. Those orcs were already pretty outclassed. Okay, let's hold off on the fort. It's just past the temple, and I'm worried trying to fast travel there will trigger the next part of Tuznan's quest. Tuznan. And we will instead head for the Strange House. For Agatha, Spider Queen. I'm gonna guess there may be some spiders involved. And let's get buffs up before we head in there. Alright, my friends. Onward. Adventure awaits.
Hail, Agatha. Spider. I heard some. I think the door is unlocked.
Evan, not wasting any time. I can respect that.
This place is bigger than I thought.
Magic. Careful, everyone.
A prudent suggestion, Garvin. We will indeed use all due caution as we venture forth into this dimensionally displaced domain. Let's shed some light on the situation. Nothing yet, but this is a very conspicuously large chamber. So, blocked, not locked. Let's try the other one. Also blocked. And the camera won't go further right, so that implies this door is either a decoy or part of an unactivated exit grid. Exit grid. We've got a conspicuous chest, but we can't interact with it.
All the doors are closed. I see no sign of witchery.
Did you hear that?
I did. That sounded like a door unlocking. And I am going out on a limb and saying it's probably that one. Well, hello there, citizen. That's probably normal. Let's see if we can skirt around her. I would like to try to get a peek in that room before we engage, just in case. Nope.
Welcome, strangers.
Who are you?
I'm but a humble servant of Queen Agatha. She'll be along shortly. Feel free to explore the palace, as long as you don't touch anything.
Oh, well. Clearly you don't know us very well, or you would not trust us to do this, but yes, I will gladly roam around this giant magic hovel. Also, we're obviously going to touch everything. Let's go ahead and track this quest. I don't want to miss it if there's any special options. Explore. As you command, O mighty journal. We've got a button and an obvious secret door off to the side. Yeah, you can clearly see there's a room behind that wall. And also, given that Agatha's probably going to be mad at us just for pushing our button, we might as well grab her chest while we're at it. A letter to Jensen. That's the dead guy we met outside. And a tome of manual dexterity. We will absolutely take that. My dearest brother, please let it be. Put this foolish quest behind you and come back to your family. There is only madness to be found going after a witch. And keep in mind, she will be after not only your body, but also your soul. I know Maraiki protects us, but a witch is a servant of the dark powers. Please, Jensen, come back to town and stay with us. Brighten our evenings with your music. Well, that is very sad. Perhaps he should have put these foolish ambitions to rest. Not not much new there. We already knew that Josen came out here and died trying to take on the witch. And obviously that letter was sent by Hannik, his brother, back in Caer Hifrid.
She said not to touch anything.
Did she?
Yeah, I gotta side with Garvin here. I feel like if someone had told us not to touch anything, I'd probably remember it.
Stop. A trap.
Thank you, Mora. I noticed that I am seeing slightly more skulls than normal.
Done and done.
By all the gods. What is this place?
I'm pretty sure she didn't want us to see that.
Hi there. Yes, I have to agree with Thygor. I am going to say that the 7 or 8 skulls and the tastefully pinned wall decorations are slightly out of the ordinary. Slave Stone. List. Well, that's ominous. Doran Marson. Human, left leg. Beerith Brightmoon, elf, head. Bera Snowtooth. Dwarf, lower jaw. Josen Lightsinger, human, heart. Yeah, that is not the sort of shopping list you want to leave out for company to stumble across. What are you, building your own person? Flesh Golem, maybe. Alright, well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious we were already planning on killing Agatha the Spider Queen. But, yes, I feel like this is a good justification to do it without any sort of moral crisis. Let's roll back out front and have a quick chat with her. Oh, what's going on here?
Muto Clipae.
Evan, I feel like that was probably unnecessary, but better safe than sorry? Can we go through here? Nope.
Manners maketh man, you know. You were told not to rummage through my things.
Agatha, is it?
Your souls will wander through the swamp forever.
Oh. Skeletal marksman on either side. Stone Golem, that's not great. Swamp Hag. And 2 more Skelemen. Okay, well, we're actually in a pretty good spot here. Especially if we can grab Surprise. Can we banish the Golem? No, that's a construct. so it would be temporary at best, and it might still save and avoid the effect entirely. Nah, I think we're safer just nuking the room.
Curses. My fault.
You're fine, Evan.
Solasta, evil.
Ooh, nice. Nice opener. Okay, well, we're gonna have Evan go out there and knock out that hag before she gets in action. So we don't need Mora in counter range. Best to keep our distance from that stone golem, I think.
Arcana, Muto, Viribe.
Expeditious advance!
That's battle.
And thus ends the reign of Agatha, Spider Queen.
Death reaches out for you.
Honestly, she would have dropped round one even without surprise, just based on these initiative rolls. Weird that they just put her right out in the middle like that. That really kind of trivialized this fight. Well, I mean, we do. We do still have a stone golem.
No quarter given.
Obviously, we're not going to drop spikes while Evan's still out there. So, let's hook up the electricity.
Natura conjo malmis.
Nice, nice. Wow, we've already got him halfway down.
Again, harder.
That's it for surprise. I'm not sure we can drop the golem before he gets in action. Can we do twinned haste? No, they're too far apart. How about if we do this? Nope, still too far. Fine, we'll just go for a twin bolt.
Come on!
We'll take it. And Eben, let's pop you out of there.
Arcana, Conjo, Viribe.
Good kill.
Cover Mora's flank. Engage the other marksman.
More!
Oh, hey, look at that. Well, that worked out perfectly.
Again, harder.
Golem's almost done. Let's get Shillelagh up, just in case.
Natura muto viribe. That I like.
You know, for a fleeting second there, I almost wanted Laren to go in for the killing shot.
Keep them coming.
But, I feel like I just recently said something about foolish ambitions.
Solasta, Evo, Malmis!
Oh, right, he's got cover from that brazier. That didn't even register.
That's battle. Stop that.
Nice. Really lightening things up today.
Well done!
Alright, buddy. You're just dragging this out now. We all know how this is ending.
Solasta, Evo, Valmis.
More.
Nice. A fairly painless fight, worth a lot of XP. And like I said, even without surprise, I think we would have handled that pretty easily. Agatha was just too close to our starting position, so either way, she would have gone down round one. Okay, that's a brooch of shielding. Not sure about that, though. Plus a modest assortment of mid-range vendor trash. You know what we didn't find here? Spiders. That feels like a slight oversight. And look at that. A rough blue diamond right after we committed to crafting them all as is. Oh well. It's fine. We'll have Eben craft up a periapt anyway. Once he's done with that belt. I'm sure we'll have other crafting projects in the future. And yeah, I guess that's it. These doors do not seem to have actual rooms behind them. So unless there's some way to activate like an exit grid, I think they are just decoration. Not the most action-packed episode this time around, but we did have one decent fight. We took down our first Swamp Hag and our first Stone Golem. We got some fun new toys to play with. Not to mention, of course, we wiped, what? 4 quests out of our journal? Well, mostly. We still have to turn some of them in.
Natura Divo Oculus.
Oh, look at that. We had some +1 crossbow bolts in there, too. I didn't even notice that. Okay, so 4 items to ID. Let's get that taken care of.
Solasta, Devo, Oculus.
Manual of Quickness of Action. Permanent +2 to Dexterity. So yeah, that'll definitely go to Mora. That'll bump her up to 18 Dex. Next up we've got...
Solasta, Devo, Oculus.
a Gem of Seeing. Okay. That's, true seeing once per day, I believe.
Solasta, Devo, Oculus.
Brooch of Shielding, no surprise there. And then 10 +1 crossbow bolts.
Solasta, Devo, Oculus.
Yep. That's good sales fodder. Gem of Seeing. Such gems are usually found as holy relics in the temples of Einar, as they help detect shape changers. They are used on Einar's holy days for various rituals. Okay, so 3 charges, with 1 charge regained per day. We haven't really run into any invisible enemies or anything, but I guess that is a good thing to have at the ready, just in case. I would like that on Eben, but he is currently capped out on attunements. Thygor's got some room. And Garvin has no attunements. Wow, okay. I gotta give Garvin more stuff, poor guy. Well, I will think on that. And the Brooch of Shielding. Medrith Sharpeye forged these brooches to protect Codomworth scouts against the Imperial Shock Arcanist's most common spell. Magic Missile, naturally. That grants immunity to Magic Missile and resistance to Force. Which is theoretically handy, but I mean, have we ever run into enemies who have actually hit us with Force damage or Magic Missiles? Much like the Amulet of Being Bad at Lying, I guess that's something we'll equip just to not have an empty slot. Alright, folks, not the most exciting fight or the best loot, aside from that tome, that is incredible, but some decent, interesting stuff. That said, we will hit the pause button for now. I'll parcel out this new stuff, figure out how to fit it into our limited attunement slots, and we will pick up here next time, as I guess we tackle the fort and the temple. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Solasta, Lost Valley, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon. Links are in the description.
That doesn't seem wise.